This is Steve Tortorello, promoter of Warrior Wrestling, and you are Drinking with Mo.
All right, everybody. Want to thank the sponsor today, Reaper Apparel. Want to encourage everybody to break out of the comfort zone, live their best self, which I very much support. They got great apparel, hats, shirts, beanies, hoodies, all that good shit. Be sure when you go on to reaperapparel.com, use the code DRINKIN for 10% off your order. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome once again. Drinking at Mo's, host Big Mo here, YouTube. You know the drill. Today I have with me once again, very excited, Steve, the promoter of Warrior Wrestling. How are you doing?
I am great, Mo. It's great to see you. It is a warming spring day in the Chicago area, which is nice to see after it's been freezing and snowing. And we've got wrestling coming up soon.
Oh, yes.
You can't get better than that.
Oh, yeah. We're kind of the same weather-wise here, and, going to be a very busy wrestling week for me. I got 3 shows I'm attending, so it'll be interesting. But, yes, next weekend, big Warrior show. Once again, Pro Wrestling TV. It is going to be awesome. We'll get right into it. This first one that I'm going to bring up, bit of contrasting styles here, but knowing both of them, I'm actually in talks with Jordan Kross to be on the podcast. But Jordan Kross versus Beastman, like I said, bit of contrasting styles, but man, it's going to be a good one. I just have that feeling.
Well, yeah, and what's interesting about this one is that Jordan Kross is on this streak as the luckiest guy in wrestling. And
yes.
he defeated Sam Beal, he defeated EC3, he defeated Carlos Romo, and now he faces a test of a very different type. He's had some lucky fluke pins. Some would call him a fluke, some would call him skilled, etc. Fortunate. He's had some lucky pins over these other wrestlers. Well, now all of a sudden, he's facing a monster. He's facing someone easily 3, maybe 4 times his weight, 5 times his weight, 6 inches taller than him, and an absolute savage in Beastman. So the question is, how lucky is this kid? And what, if anything, can he pull out of his sleeve for this match?
Oh, totally. You get to thinking, like you said, bit of a good luck streak, luckiest man in wrestling right now. And just how far is that good luck streak going to carry him against a guy the size and power of Beastman?
Exactly. And so at some point, either he's going to have to get really lucky or the monster is going to eat him.
Yep. And good Lord, if the latter of those two ends up happening, that's going to be brutal. Next match, not so much contrasting styles, very similar in a lot of aspects, but who knows what that weasel Frank the Clown's going to have his fingers all over this one. Storm Grayson versus the returning Johnny Warrior.
Yeah, we're excited for this one. So John Morrison, Johnny Warrior, debuted for us back in December, and he was wonderful. He's amazing. And we really think that he and Storm Grayson are going to match up perfectly as wrestlers. They're similar size, similar build, similar style. And John obviously is a seasoned veteran, and Storm is very much on his way up. So it's going to be a great wrestling match. And like you said, the question is, what, if any, role will that greasy clown play in this match?
You just know that something's going to happen with him being out there, but I I had the pleasure of meeting Johnny Warrior recently at Sami Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver. And with his parkour style that he likes to incorporate into his matches, you know, you can think that even if Frank the Clown starts to try to weasel his way in there, Johnny Warrior can use some of that parkour moves and that style to kind of maneuver around it in a way.
Yeah, you know, you can parkour around a lot of things, walls, stairs, railings. Can you parkour around a clown is a great question.
And you know what? If there's anybody, personally, I feel this way, if there's anybody that can get that answer, it'll be Johnny Warrior.
Yeah, he's truly a special and a unique talent. And we're excited to have him back.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to see him back. Next match, another one, very similar styles. Unless something happens, I'm actually scheduled to talk to one of the participants in this match tomorrow as of recording this. Clark Connors versus Davey Richards. Holy crap, that's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly a clashing of two great, strong style wrestlers. As we always talk about, we like to have different types of matches on our shows. And if you like New Japan strong style, if you like classic Ring of Honor style, this is literally the guy who wrote the book, Davey Richards, the guy that so much of that style is based versus the guy who is possibly the next big thing. Clark Connors stole the show at Forbidden Door last year in Chicago, and now he goes one-on-one with a guy who he's idolized. I think it's just going to be a phenomenal wrestling match.
Oh, totally agree with you. And you bring up Forbidden Door. I remember originally I was somewhat disappointed when, no offense to Clark Connors, great talent, but when the original guy, Tomohiro Ishii, wasn't going to be in there, I was a little disappointed. But then we get to the night of Forbidden Door and how he performed in that match. Holy shit.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah. You know, I am shocked that Tony Khan did not twist New Japan's arm to keep him around after that night, because Connors was so impressive. And he had a great match for us in April of last year in South Bend. He and Carl Fredericks, who used to be with New Japan, he's now with WWE, they absolutely tore the house down in the Bendix Arena. So we are excited to have Clark back, and we really think this is going to be something special.
Oh, it is definitely going to be something special. I've mentioned before that I gravitate towards those matches that just have that intensity to them, and these two are definitely going to bring that out, not only of each other, but the whole damn card.
Yeah,
definitely. Next up, and I don't like to think that there's any match on this card that people can sleep on, but there's one that is like people I might wonder, like, another kind of contrasting styles in a way, with the lucha style of, in many ways, Mr. Warrior Wrestling, Sam Adonis, versus the hard-hitting slugfest kind of strong style of the one and only Eddie Kingston. And it'll be interesting to see how they mix.
So what's interesting about Sam, and this is why Sam is one of the greats, he's a very versatile wrestler. He's known most famously for his lucha and his time in CMLL and now AAA. However, Sam did several tours of Japan with All Japan Wrestling. And All Japan, if you know Eddie Kingston, Eddie Kingston is a huge devotee of 1990s All Japan matches, Misawa, Wada, etc. That King's Road style of All Japan. Yeah. So Sam is going to have to go back into his bag of tricks and go back to that All Japan Sam Adonis and really pull out some special stuff when he faces Eddie Kingston.
Definitely.
So we talked earlier about that New Japan style with Richards and Connors. This is, for those of the deep cut nerds, this is going to be a 90s All Japan style match, and it's going to be pretty darn special.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? That had slipped my mind about Sam Adonis there, that he did have those tours over there. So yeah, he might have to do a little digging, but knowing the type of competitor that he is, I'm sure that he'll dig down deep and find something, because he's definitely going to need it against Eddie Kingston.
Well, yeah, and the thing too is that Sam was a mega star last time we were in Grand Rapids. He had a match against Ray Leone, and then he won a spot in the main event in the War of Attrition match later that night. So Sam really endeared himself to the faithful in Grand Rapids, and we're really hoping that it'll be a big night for him again.
Oh, I have a very good feeling that it will be. And just thinking how, getting him back to maybe one day getting in there with another person we'll talk about in a little bit, Vikingo, and getting his hands back on the Lucha title, or heck, maybe going up against, I was going to talk about this one a little later, but we'll go ahead and talk about this one now. Casey Navarro and the Warrior World title against the one and only Jordan Oliver. And for people that, maybe aren't haven't really watched too much of the Game Changer Wrestling or JCW, man, are you guys in for a treat? And against the wily, conniving nowadays Casey Navarro, with Frank the Clown again in his corner, this one's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, so Casey and Jordan actually truly grew up together, trained together in New Jersey, and they've known each other since they were teenagers, learning how to wrestle. And as you said, Jordan has become a breakout star for GCW. He's been with us a couple of times before at Warrior, and now he just won the Jersey J Cup last month. He really is on a tear. He's gotten in incredible shape. He's constantly posting his workouts on Twitter, online for people to see. So he has gone from being a guy who can have some great matches and do some cool things to a ripped heavyweight who can kick ass. And now he's coming for the title against a guy he's known since they were, 13, 14 years old. So it's really going to be a long time coming for this fight for the Warrior World title.
Oh man, it is going to be absolutely amazing. Literally any match on the card, amazing. This one, oh man, there's something special about it. And next up, there was a bit of an announcement that I saw shortly before we started recording. Unfortunately, Queen Aminata not cleared to compete, but once again, Warrior Wrestling, you guys have come in clutch with getting the relatively short notice replacements. So going up against Max the Impaler now, gonna be the ruler of ass, Warhorse.
Yes, we are so excited for this. This was actually a challenge Warhorse issued a while back internally to Warrior management. He said, I want to fight Max the Impaler. And we said, well, Max's dance card is booked right now, but if an opportunity ever arises, we'll see what we can do. And Aminata is not cleared right now from a tweaked knee, a knee injury, and she won't be clear by the time of the show. And so we gave a call down to St. Louis, and old 4,000 pounds of heavy metal picked up the phone and said, let's effing do it. And so now we have two absolute badasses colliding like freight trains.
Oh, man. The very definition of the term slobber knocker, if there ever was one.
That's the truth. This is going to be our graphics guy was putting it together this afternoon, and he asked me, is this going to be a no DQ because Aminata and Max was going to be a no DQ. And I said, well, we haven't signed it that way, but honestly, the ref just might let him go. So we'll see when we get there.
Oh man, you know, I was actually just thinking that now that you bring it up, it's like, well, the original match was booked as no DQ. These two would definitely have one hell of an entertaining match in a no DQ match. So I'm like thinking to myself, why the hell not, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even if we don't book it that way, like I said, they might slug the referee and then we just get a fight.
You know, that very well could happen, knowing the two competitors the way a lot of us do. I can see that happening.
Same.
And next up, I know I've mentioned before how big of a fan of tag team wrestling I am, and how I love with Warrior Wrestling, how I love getting introduced to stuff that I maybe might not have been as aware of somebody in a match, but getting introduced to something new is always nice. Top Flight versus team relatively unbeknownst to me, but I'm looking forward to this because just knowing the two names of the teams, Top Flight and the Velocities, just on name alone, it just sounds like, holy shit, we're going to be in for some high-flying action here.
Yeah, the Velocities come to us from Australia. They're in the States for Mania Week. They're actually coming early to do our show.
Nice.
And they have, if you like Aussie Open, if you've heard of them, they've had the Velocities. The Velocities have stopped by PWG a few times. In conversation with Will Ospreay over the last couple of years, who was Warrior champion for a long time, Will told us regularly that the Velocities are the biggest undiscovered team that people in the States don't know about yet. And he's told so many times, once the Velocities truly hit the States, it's game over for tag team wrestling. And so we put them up against Top Flight, who is just infinitely talented and it's incredible and on a tear on AEW. So, I mean, talk about show stealer. We've put together, we believe, 9 matches that could steal the show, but it might be toughest for the other 8 to beat this one.
Oh, I would have to agree. And one of the other matches that are going to be going to try to maybe top that one, part of the Rascals, Zachary Wentz versus the Machine, Brian Cage. Definitely, again, another bit of a contrasting of styles, but, you know, knowing they're both amazing talents on their own. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so Brian Cage and Zach Wentz hooked up once in a 4-way at Warrior Wrestling when Brian defended the title against Zach, Trey, and Dez, all 3 Rascals. And the action in that match was nonstop and incredible. And so now you've got a great clash of styles and 2 guys who have been staples at Warrior Wrestling for years and years. And the first time ever having a singles match. So again, talk about matches that could steal the show. There's one right there.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of show stealers, last but not least, we have the current reigning defending Warrior Lucha champion, Vikingo, versus, and I'm going to leave this up to you to pronounce his name because I feel bad when I mispronounce the name, but
sure. For the gringos of us, we could just say Arez, but if we hit that hard R, it's Arez. Arez is just an incredible luchador. He's been with us several times before at Warrior. Wrestles in GCW a lot, wrestles in AAA. He and Vikingo had a match down in an independent group in Mexico during COVID. That was maybe one of the best. It was one of the best COVID matches of that era, and maybe the best. Truly amazing, and we're really excited to get the chance to let them go at it again under the Warrior banner.
Oh, I can imagine so. And knowing some of the stuff that Vikingo has pulled off in his matches so far, winning the Warrior Lucha title and now defending it, the stuff that he's, like you said, he's been able to pull off, jaw-dropping stuff every time. And, just looking forward to seeing what's going to be next.
Yes, that's always the question with Vikingo is how can he top what he just did? And yet somehow he always does.
Exactly the thought I was having, and always just thinking, man, I don't know if he can top that. And then lo and behold, the next dang match, he goes and does it. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, but, it's truly incredible.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. Well, that is the card. Going to be a week from, as of recording this, a week from Saturday, March 25th, Grand Rapids, only on Pro Wrestling TV. Great deal there. I encourage everybody, if you haven't already downloaded it, go and do it. They got loads of content. They got Warrior Wrestling like we've been talking about. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. You can watch it. You can stream it on your browser on PWTV. Like you said, you can download the app. It's also available on almost all smart TVs. I have it. I installed the app on my Samsung TV and I watch PWTV on my television. So check it out. We're still figuring out whether it's going to be a pay-per-view. It might actually be a free over-the-air show. So we're going to wait and see if that gets confirmed in the next couple of days. But everybody check it out on Pro Wrestling TV, and we'll see you on Saturday the 25th.
That'll be interesting. That'll be an extra treat, and I look forward to seeing it.
Thanks, Mo. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too.
Take care.
Take care.